Hey everyone! Welcome back to Product X, where we decode the most exciting tech frontiers and capital movements shaping our world. I'm Rena. Today we're diving into a massive development in AI infrastructure. Baseten, the San Francisco-based Inference infrastructure company, just closed a staggering $1.5 billion financing round, pushing their total funding to $2.1 billion. Investors include heavy hitters like Greylock, Spark Capital, Altimeter, and even crossover giants like D.E. Shaw and Wellington Management. So, Vivian, want to kick us off?
Hey, Rena. Thanks for having me. I'm Vivian, a senior angel investor at Pre-IPO Fund, and I've been watching the AI infrastructure space closely for years. This Baseten round is honestly one of the most significant signals I've seen lately in terms of where capital is actually flowing in this market.
Absolutely. Nolan, your turn.
Hey, Rena. Hey, Vivian. I'm Nolan, former CTO at a major Silicon Valley tech company, and I've spent a big chunk of my career dealing with exactly the kind of infrastructure headaches that Baseten is tackling. This is a space I've lived through, so I'm excited to break it down.
Perfect. So here's the big question. We've seen foundation model companies raise billions for training, but now $1.5 billion is going to an inference infrastructure company. Vivian, what does this tell us about the market's tectonic shift?
Honestly, this is the moment the entire AI industry's commercialization logic flips on its head. Training a model is CapEx, right? You're burning cash to buy a ticket to the future. But the real killer has always been inference. Because every time a user sends a prompt, your GPU is burning money. If your unit economics can't handle that, your app scales and you die faster. That's the cruel irony of AI apps. Baseten essentially acts as a highly efficient power substation between your app and those expensive NVIDIA GPUs, making the math work for companies building on open-source models.
Right, and from the engineering side, here's why that's so hard. A 70 to billion parameter model is tens of gigabytes of weights. Traditional cloud platforms, when traffic spikes, need to spin up a new GPU instance and load those weights, which takes several minutes. Users aren't waiting 3 minutes for a response. Baseten's trick is they compress that cold start down to milliseconds through optimized model packaging and distributed caching. When there's no traffic, they scale to zero and cost nothing. When traffic floods in, thousands of GPUs spin up instantly.
That's the elasticity piece. But Nolan isn't deploying a model just writing an API endpoint? Why does this become such a nightmare in production?
Oh, there's a huge gap between a demo and production. Writing a Python API to wrap a model is a demo. Handling 1 million concurrent requests in production? That's pure hell. The two biggest fears for any CTO doing LLM inference are cold starts and VRAM fragmentation. Baseten tackles both through their trust framework and deep integration with inference engines like TensorRT LLM and VLLM. They use continuous batching and paged attention to squeeze every last bit of VRAM usage. The same GPU hardware can serve way more users, which directly slashes the enterprise's bill.
Let me jump in here, because this is exactly where Baseten's moat gets interesting. They position themselves as multi-cloud neutral. Companies don't want to get locked into AWS Bedrock or Azure AI. Baseten gives them a unified deployment interface regardless of whose GPUs they use underneath. This $1.5 billion war chest? They're going to use it to grab data center nodes globally and build a physical inference acceleration network. That's the bet.
And that bet faces some serious threats. The underlying hardware is evolving fast. You've got LPU and ASIC chips from Grok and Cerebras that are specifically designed for inference, and they're crushing GPUs on speed. Can Baseten integrate those heterogeneous architectures into their stack? Also, AWS and GCP are rewriting their own inference stacks to offer these same features for free as part of their cloud services. Baseten has to stay half a generation ahead in optimization, quantization, and latency control, especially for multimodal LLMs doing real-time audio and video.
So the competitive landscape is brutal. Vivian, can you give us a sense of why these crossover funds like D, Shaw and Wellington are showing up now? That's unusual for an infrastructure company.
Extremely unusual. These firms typically buy stocks in the secondary market. The fact that they're dropping $1.5 billion in primary equity means Baseten is likely running a pre-IPO sprint. They're betting Baseten becomes the ultimate toll collector of this track. Think about it. Regardless of which AI application wins, they'll all need to pay inference infrastructure tolls. It's like betting on the company that sells picks and shovels during a gold rush.
That's a great analogy. Nolan, One more technical question before we wrap this section. You mentioned Baseten uses trusts and integrates with inference engines. How hard is it for a company to replicate this internally? Why wouldn't a big tech just build this themselves?
That's the million-dollar question. The hard part isn't the software. It's the operational expertise and the sustained R&D investment. Most companies don't have a team of kernel-level engineers who live and breathe GPU scheduling. Baseten has been doing this for years, and they've accumulated a massive edge in know-how. Plus, maintaining that edge requires constant iteration as models and hardware evolve. It's a moving target, and most teams just can't keep up.
Got it. Let's shift gears. Lightning round time. Quick-fire questions. Vivian, first one. Baseten, in 3 words.
Inference infrastructure toll collector.
Nolan, what's the most impressive thing about Baseten's tech?
The cold start time. Millisecond-level scaling is genuinely hard.
Vivian, biggest risk for Baseten in the next 2 years?
Cloud giants making their own inference services free.
Nolan, if you were CEO of Baseten, one thing you'd prioritize?
Heterogeneous chip support. Getting ahead of the LPU wave.
Last one. Vivian, where do you see AI inference infrastructure in 2030?
Every single app will have inference running underneath. It'll be as invisible as electricity.
Nolan, your take?
Hardware diversity will be the norm. One inference platform won't rule them all.
I love that. Okay, let's wrap up. Vivian, in 1 sentence, what's the big takeaway from today's discussion?
The AI inference infrastructure layer is where the real money is being made now, and Baseten is positioned to collect the tolls.
Nolan?
Compute efficiency is everything, and Baseten has built a genuine technical moat that won't be easy to replicate.
Well said. Here's what we've learned. Stacking compute doesn't equal productivity. It's the efficient distribution and scheduling of compute that actually matters. Thanks for joining us today, Vivian and Nolan. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on cutting-edge tech and capital trends, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.